This tutorial shall continue from the previous tutorial where we have made a basic initialization and we have also created a database to hold the data of our users. In this tutorial, we shall make additional configuration to specify our login and access denied pages. We shall also add a restricted or protected page and verify that when an unauthorized user tries to access it, then he is automatically redirected to the login page. Let us open the project from the point at which we left it at the end of the previous tutorial. Open the program.cs file to add and configure services for identity and authentication cookie. Recall that we have already added a service for DB context. Just next to it, add the services for identity. This can be done with a single call to add default identity and add entity framework stores. Next, add a service for authentication and also add various options for the authentication cookie. We can set the path to the login page and to the access denied page. We shall later add both these pages at these paths. We can even set other cookie settings like the expiry time span. We must also add authentication and authorization middleware to the request pipeline. This can be added with the use authentication and use authorization functions. The order of these calls is important. Authentication should precede authorization. The sequence of both these calls must also be before the map razor pages call. Next, let us add an index homepage for our website. This will be a public page accessible to everyone, whether authenticated or not. For this, right-click the Pages folder and add a page called index.cshtml. We have written some random HTML in it and also added a link to our restricted page. Next, let us add a page called restricted. We have written some h1 tag in this page so that we will know that we are on this page. Just it gives a message, some message that is readable for this page. But the most important part is the backing class of this page. Let us open the backing class. As you can see, we have added an authorize attribute to this class. This will restrict access only to authorized users. Let us run the project so far. The index homepage opens. It shows some HTML and a link to the restricted page. Let us click this link. And as expected, the page doesn't open and we get an HTTP 404 error message that the login page has not been found. This has happened as expected because the user is not yet authenticated. Now it is time to add the access denied and login pages, and it is usually better to keep these pages in a separate area. It makes the code readable, neat and maintainable as well. So add an area called auth. If you are new to the concept of areas, then we suggest that you may please refer the chapter on areas for more information on this concept. For now, let us add our access denied and login pages to the auth area. This will be the same path as we have set earlier in the program.cs file. Right-click the pages folder and add a razor page called access denied. Write any HTML into it so that we can know that we are on the access denied page. Again, right-click the pages folder and add a page called login. This page will present a login form to the user. Let us open the page and examine the form that we have written here. First, we have added 3 directives for page, model and add tag helper. Then we have a validation summary tag for showing all the validation errors at near the top of this page. A table has been used to create the form. The first tr row is for the user ID. It is bound to a property on the backing class. The next tr is for password, and after that we have a remember me checkbox. Then there is the submit button and links for the register, forgot password and resend confirmation. We should have used a partial page for these links because these will be needed at various pages in our project, but we wanted to keep the things simple for tutorial purposes, so we have added the links here itself. The pages for these links will be added in later tutorials. Now come to the Solution Explorer and open the login cshtml.cs file. This file contains the login model backing class. Let us examine the various parts of this file. First of all, we have the namespaces. Then we have the login model class. The class is marked as allow anonymous so that the form is publicly available. Then we have a two-way bind properties for user ID and password and remember me. These properties will bring the form data for the various input elements on the login form. Sign-in manager is an identity service that helps us complete the login process. It is obtained through a constructor-based dependency injection. We have cached it as a read-only property. The onPost method executes when the user submits and posts the form. The password sign-in async method of the sign-in manager is used for validating the user ID and password combination entered by the user. Notice that all database communication is handled by this single function. Then there is an if-else ladder for handling the various result outcomes. If the login succeeds, the user is redirected to the return URL, which contains the page that the user initially wanted to see. But if the user came directly to the login form, then the return URL is null, and in that case, the user will be redirected to the website homepage. Then we have the branches for two-factor authentication and for the logged out case. These will be implemented in later tutorials. The login failed message is added to model state in the last else block because if we reach this else position, that means that the user was not able to log in successfully. Now run the project to open the index home page. Click on the link to attempt a visit to the restricted page. As expected, we will be taken to the login page. This is the page that we configured in the cookie options in the program.cs file. We haven't yet registered a user, so we can add any random email and password. Click Submit to verify that the login failed message is shown. Everything is working as expected, and in the next tutorial we shall add the registration module. Thank you.